everybody.
Hello.
Are we on? We're on. Yay. Hello.
Hi.
I am Jen. I am your nervous DM today. Hi. And we have a bunch of lovely people here. And before we go around and introduce, I'm going to do some quick thank yous to sponsors. Thank you to Roll20 and Tabletop Loot and So Nerdware, which I think I got. So Nerdware? Yes. And Devin Rue for sponsoring and supporting the channel. Y'all are awesome. And I'm going to say it right. Patreon. Yes? Yay! Okay. Our Patreon supporting the bulk of our operations. Subs and bits are also going to be helpful. It'll give you extra emotes, giving us extra benefits. So interact, do stuff like that. And check out the Patreon info below. And join the amazing Discord, which is really like active and full and cool and like one of my faves. So go ahead and join that. And let's go around and introduce players. And I don't actually know what order people are in. And I have your character names, but not your, okay, wait, okay. M, AKA Brina. Tell me about yourself.
Hi, I'm M. I am a nerdy nonprofit employee by day and I guess dice goblin, hype goblin, tabletop person every other time. I can be found on Twitter at Simply Emily, EMMILY. I don't actually spell my name like that, but the regular Simply Emily was taken, so now it's a thing.
Now you spell it that way.
That'd be fun to explain at work. Most people just call me M.
Okay. Anything else about you, Em?
No, that's pretty much it. I'm kind of boring.
Jenna, aka Cars.
Hi, I'm Jenna, and I am on Instagram and Discord and Twitter under Philly Girl JL. And I am a nerd as well. I also run the Instagram accounts for my local chapter of an organization called Geek Girl Brunch that I am an officer of. And I do the Instagram account for our national or for our international organization as well.
Very cool. All right. I have Suze, aka Vera.
Hi, everybody. My name is Suze or Susanna. I'm on Twitter at SuzBian, so SUZBIAN. And yeah, I'm a college student. I like to play tabletop role-playing games. That's about it.
Cool. And Michelle, aka Zenbrix. Did I say Zenbrix right?
Yeah, Zenbrix.
Zenbrix. Okay.
Hi, I'm Michelle. You can find me on Twitter at Michelle Ely. You can find me a lot on the Welcome to the Party Discord in just various different channels. Please come. It's a great place. We have a lot of feelings, especially gay feelings. So please come and, hang out and everything. So yeah, I have a day job, but whatever, but I love to game and I'm really looking forward to this.
Awesome. All right, V's Knees, aka Keen.
Hey there, I'm John, aka V's Knees, on Twitter. I play the Masks game Friday nights here on Welcome to the Party. I believe our finale is coming up on the 13th, actually. And I also play Tuesday nights on the Scraticus Academy at 6. It's called Children of Rofeld. We all play a bunch of kids, and it's interesting. We're in the Feywild right now, and we don't know what we're doing because we're kids.
And because you're in the Feywild.
Yeah, that's
the other reason. Yeah. And I'm Jen. I think I mentioned that before, but you can find me on Twitter at Jen Quixote, or actually it's at Quixote Jen, QUIXOTEJEN, 1 N on that Jen there. There's a big divide in the world between Jens with 1 N and Jens with 2 N's. I'm on the 1 N side. So I love my 2 N Jens too. So that's where you can find me. I hang out a lot. My Discord that I hang out the most on is Featherfall Tabletop or Featherfall TT. And you can actually see me Tuesday evenings there in a game, and also on Scraticus on Thursday mornings, 10 to 1, which is 10 to 1 Pacific. Interesting timeline. So yeah, unless there's anything else, let's get started with our game. Yeah. All right. We are going to play in a homebrew World of Mime that's in the process of development and in a brand new one-shot in that. So y'all are inspiring me to go in a new direction with my stories. And welcome to the Arcane Empire. A little bit about the Arcane Empire. As far as anyone knows, the Arcane Empire has existed always. And almost always it has been at war with a nation to the west called the Kingdom of Solaris for thousands and thousands of years, which is everyone's way of saying for forever, except for the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, there has been a ceasefire. And during that ceasefire, a lot of the empire's general ways of being have gotten amplified. So the empire has always been a ginormous bureaucracy run by committee upon committee upon committee. Every individual's power is through paperwork and the ability to wait in line for a long, 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 long time. And that has magnified significantly in the last 10 years. The Empire practices universal conscription and has a massive military. All of our characters today, who will get a chance to introduce themselves, are soldiers who were retained past their original conscription. During your conscription, your memory is wiped for 3 years, but then restored to you for everything subsequent to those 3 years. All of you have been through that. We like to say in the Empire, all are equal. Radical egalitarianism is preached, not necessarily practiced. Some are more equal than others. And we will be starting in Camp 5 Boots. Camp 5 Boots is a supply camp. It is an encampment of roughly 1,000 soldiers that has been in place for hundreds of years, entrenched into the fields on the eastern part of the continental empire. And Camp 5 Boots today is cold. It is deep, deep winter. Everywhere within the camp, you see smoke from fires. You hear the crunching of boots on snow. In the barracks where the conscripts stay, the Blinks. Should I pause? Because I think we lost somebody. We lost somebody. Okay, well, since I'm doing an intro, maybe. Yeah, I'll continue with the intro, and then we'll see if we need to pause with the action. Throughout the camp, you see the section, the majority of the encampment is composed of the Blinks, which are the conscripted soldiers who wander around somewhat aimlessly with their eyes blinking, with lack of comprehension of their surroundings because their memories are simply not formulating. You live in a different part of the encampment where the proffered corps, or the people who stay past their conscription, are located. You have a few more fires. You get bricks that you get to put in the fires and put in your cot with you at night so that you don't freeze quite as much in the snow. But it's still friggin' cold. It is really, really cold. And you are often, all of you, but for one reason or another, have a reputation within this camp. And so some people like you because of your rep, some people don't. Some people will share their bricks with you and some people won't. Let's go around and actually just have everybody say who your character is, what your character looks like, and maybe why their reputation is what it is, if you want to share that. Let's start with Brina.
Okay, Brina is a forest gnome. She's short. She likes to say 3'7" on a good day. She wears her hair in like little space buns, except space buns because we're not in space. And she's got like nut brown hair, and despite the fact that she's been a soldier for Lord knows how long, she's also a giant nerd and kind of studied magic on the side. So mostly because wizard school didn't think she was smart enough. So she kind of flunk out of wizard school, but wizard school didn't work for her. So she's a fighter, but then kind of started learning a little bit of magic on the side, and that doesn't work well with paperwork land.
Yeah. Her fellow fighters are always a little bit like, okay, that's a weird thing to be into. And the magical corps, which is also located in this encampment, just looks down their nose at her. Mm-hmm. All right. And Zembrix, tell us about you.
Zembrix is a 4 foot tall halfling. She, well, if you knew her before, she used to have like a little longer black hair, but recently she's cutting it very short. Um, she wears like darker, like blues and blacks. And if you sort of notice on her, like in her left shoulder, just barely stitched. It's beautiful though. It's like this, it's a compass symbol and it's very intricate and such. It's like an 8-pointed star. And so it's right there because, well, Zenbrooks doesn't care if you know, but the Empire liked it that she was all nice and quiet and able to go wherever. But she's really recently found God, and that's why some people don't like her.
The Empire acknowledges the existence of deities, but also thinks that following them instead of the state is just a little bit embarrassing and weird. All right. And Cars.
Okay. Cars is a hobgoblin. And he actually, his memories that he has regained don't actually tell him how he got into the Empire. So part of whatever, how he got conscripted or whatever is tied into his past. So he doesn't have some of his memories from his past that others have regained. And because he's a hobgoblin, he actually kind of sticks out. And so that's part of the reason probably why people don't like him. He's also very he's like a battle master. So he doesn't really care about people on a personal level. He's more about how well you fight and how good you are in combat than anything else.
And I think one thing about the Empire is that officially Imperial technology always works. It doesn't not work. So for the memory technology to not have quite worked with Cars is not something that anyone's really willing to officially accept, although everybody gets that it happens. So that would be another reason why people are like, nah, no, you remember fine. What are you talking about? You remember fine. Yeah. All right. And Vera.
Yeah. Okay. So Vera is a tiefling, kind of roguish in appearance, like pants and boots and like an overshirt. She has like olive skin, and olive is an olive green, not like olive isn't like a tan white person. And she has her horns kind of jut straight out from her forehead, and she has sort of long dark hair that flows down her back. Let's see. She I don't know, she's not quiet, but she's not like outwardly like outgoing or engaging with the other soldiers as much. There are some rumors floating around about her past. She was involved in some sort of family business. It's not clear how shady or up to date that business was, but you can't really say. And officially, you know, those types of things don't really exist in the Empire. Yeah.
Yes. Businesses don't even really exist. They just sort of exist. So indeed, that would be a salacious rumor going around about you. All right, Keen.
Keen is a wolf. He's about 6'5", pretty imposing. He was actually, I just have to pull up the notes that you actually sent me, Jen, about Warforged. So he was originally a human soldier and who was killed in the line of duty. And so because of his service, you know, he was put into this Warforged. And apparently every now and then there's just a little bit of a hitch, and he wasn't really supposed to retain any parts of his humanity, but he retained enough where he doesn't have specific memories of his past life, but he really feels that he's a human inside of this. Like he feels that he's a human that was like put into this shell to like keep him alive and to continue his service. So he doesn't really have like the stilted speech that you sometimes hear in Warforged, and just anyone who, you know, he's quick to correct people that he's Warforged, or that he's human and not Warforged. So kind of unsettles people from the Empire a little bit in there.
Very much so. And the animated core is what all of the Warforged belong to within the military. They're usually kept in a warehouse, often a corner of the encampment, because they sort of creep everyone out. They say that at night, when all of the not conscious Warforged are left asleep, that even the rats are afraid to go in there. They don't really know what to do with you. They've billeted you. Captain Deerling has found a tent close to the warehouse for you to stay in because they feel weird trying to turn you off at night. That doesn't work. But again, technically, you're supposed to be like this because Imperial technology, as we all know, always works. All right. So one cold midwinter night with the sound of boots crunching in the snow and the sound of wind outside your tents, each of you return from your duties and you find a letter, an official letter on your bedroll telling you that you are to report the next day to the camp auditor for the beginning of a preliminary investigation, although it does not say what that investigation is. And for all of you, you would know that's not a very auspicious thing to be told to report to some random investigation that you haven't even been told what it is. But you go to sleep that night, and in the middle of the night, you are awoken by a blink who has a patch on their arm designating that they work directly for Major Gloriander, who runs the encampment. Now, Major Gloriander is a wood elf who has been in charge of the encampment of Five Boots for 100 years. And in fact, the name of the camp is named after a story about Gloriander, about a time that they defeated a group of ogre by stealing all their boots. People will take their old boots and hang them over the gates around the encampment out of pride that they are in Gloriander's encampment. You are summoned by a blink who will just shake your shoulder a little bit and in their kind of vague, confused way say, come to Gloriander's tent right now. And then they walk away. Does everyone follow when they are so summoned?
Brina does.
I think
Yeah.
Keen would probably scare the blink by just his head like laying there, and then his head just suddenly turns directly.
Very, very quickly, like you get that weird reaction, and then it just seems to wipe right off. So
yeah,
report.
Cars is going to follow, of course, because he's used to following orders.
Yeah, I think Vera's like a heavy sleeper,
Indeed.
but she kind of rolls over and like follows after everyone too.
Timbrix will be the last to arrive.
All right. So it is the middle of the night. You can tell by just the sharpness of the stars, the wind has sort of died down, the air is crisp, and it's quite quiet in the camp, that it's probably about 2, 3 in the morning. There's just no earthly reason for anyone to be up who does not have guard duty. You are led to the tent in the middle of the encampment that is known as the place where Major Gloriander holds their audiences with anyone that they wish to speak to. Now, for you to be summoned, you are all at the level of corporal. For you to be summoned to speak to the Major, highly unusual as well. Probably none of you have ever had really direct conversation with Gloriander. You've just seen them from a distance. But you are led by your respective blink to the flap of the tent and gestured to go in. And I know Zembrix isn't there yet. Who might come in first, second, third? What order do you want to come in?
Keen's a soldier through and through, so he'd be one of the first, if not the first.
Yeah, Cars would definitely be up there in the front as well, because he is a soldier as well, used to following orders and being there.
Yeah, I think Brina would go third, maybe kind of not really hiding behind Keen, being double her size.
Yeah, and then Vera will kind of pull up behind.
Okay. And when you come in, you actually see Gloriander sitting at a round table with no chairs other than Gloriander's chair. And Gloriander is sitting with scrolls and paper, stacks of paperwork, quills and ink, just intently studying a thing and just sort of looks up. They look up when you come in, and then they look back down. Each time someone comes in, they look up, acknowledge that you're there, and look back down, and just sort of awkwardly sit in silence while waiting for the next person to come in. Do you remain silent or do you converse?
I think Cars is going to remain silent. He is kind of just there to see what's going on. And again, like I said in the beginning, he's not really trying to make friends or anything like that.
Yeah,
Down,
Brina's
Brina,
gonna
hi- sorry.
Brina's gonna be quiet unless somebody else starts talking, and then she might, because she hates awkward silences, but she's not gonna be the one to break it.
Keen might like glance down at Brina hiding behind him, but mostly remain silent.
Vera?
Vera's looking at everybody, not saying anything, and looks back to the major. Not doing anything. She kind of like quietly clears her throat and like has her hands clasped, probably like respectful rank, I guess.
Gloriander actually looks up when Vera clears her throat and then looks back down. And you can just occasionally hear the wind. It is like there are no actual clocks in this room, but if there was one, you would hear just the awkward tick, 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 and Zenbrix. You come to the flap of the tent. Do you make your entrance?
I don't care who you are. This better be good.
Was that directed at me?
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything to say before we begin this briefing, soldiers? Ah, see. The rest of them know how to set examples. Welcome, all of you. You have received, I believe, a summons from the auditor. Each of you, is that correct?
Yes.
I assume that, do any of you know what the summons is regarding?
No, sir.
It is regarding what will undoubtedly result in your court-martial and the erasure of your memories, unless you do what I'm about to ask you to do. Would anyone like to be court-martialed and have their memories erased? If so, speak now, and I will send you out of this tent, Zenbrix. Corporal.
I'm not in the mood for that, so let's go ahead.
It's not that kind of day, huh? Not a memory wiping day. Well, wonderful. I am here to explain to you exactly how you're going to get yourself out of this and exactly what's going on to get you into it to begin with. You all would know, by the way, this is DM talking. You would know that this is a supply encampment, that it exists along a great road that's job is to supply material back and forth to various cities. We have been supplying Perpetual City with its coal for centuries, and for centuries, none of our shipments have gone through the way that they're supposed to. For at least the last 100 years, a fair portion of it has been stolen around about the outskirts of Perpetual City. I have sent people to investigate. They haven't come back, or they've come back with no information, but most of them don't come back. And I've managed to keep the authorities fairly disinterested in that during the war effort. But since not much is happening on the war front, all of a sudden they're very interested in where the hell their missing coal is. Now, since I can't figure out what's happening, the auditor would really, really like me to have some answers to the up and ups. Guess who the answers are going to be if I don't find some actual solution to this problem?
Is that a rhetorical question or?
Oh no, this was the answer as I gestured around the table. Though you're welcome to try to answer too if you want.
We are on the platter that he wants to deliver to the Empire. And we're going to be on that platter unless we succeed.
Bingo. You are delicious little appetizers that the Empire would like to consume. I don't appreciate being asked to set up my soldiers to take a fall that they don't deserve. So I'm giving you this opportunity to go out there and solve this problem.
Okay.
Gracious of you, sir.
Seems like we don't
Well,
have much of a choice either.
Well, you could choose to go through with the investigation. You know that trials are always fair in the Empire. Right. So several of you are from Perpetual City. Let me say, Vera and Cars, you are both actually from Perpetual City. Several of you are from there. I take it that you will be able to provide some guidance to the rest of your group as to who you could speak to. I have a few contacts that you might want to speak with, one in particular. I think that you will most likely find that you can speak to Carinos and Cartra, who is one of the city's central committee administrators. Carinos will direct you to whoever might be a suspect, whoever might be a person of interest that you could speak to. One of you may be familiar with Ivandra, who is involved in unofficial business within the city boundaries. And Vera, that name, very familiar to you. Those are the two people I would most recommend you speak to at the beginning. You may also want to look for evidence that someone's using coal when they're not supposed to. Perpetual City is not heated by coal. Perpetual City is heated by steam. So if someone's using coal, you could use your eyes and find out where the smoke is. Anything that I can do for, oh, goodness. In the meantime, I would like you to not end up dead if at all possible. They bring out a satchel that has 5 healing potions. Each of you take one of these. Or, I don't know, one of you take one of these and make the rest of you angry. That's also an option if you'd like. But I assume you want to share. So each of you take one of these.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any further questions, soldiers? All right.
When we find the culprit, do you want us to take care of them or bring them to you?
That depends entirely on who the culprit is, doesn't it?
You're saying to use our own discretion?
So
Let's say
we should report back to you first before we do anything once we find the culprit.
Gloriander looks over their right shoulder. This is actually my left shoulder, but that's okay. Over their left shoulder. And then over their right shoulder, looks back at you and says, if the culprit is someone that the Empire officially would not like to have be the culprit, and you come back and tell me who the culprit is, I have very little choice but to not follow through on what you're saying. Right?
Yes.
What I would like more than anything is for the problem to go away. If the shipments no longer are coming in light, then it's quite possible I will be able to find a way to explain the problem away. If there is a culprit, be very sure that it's someone that the Empire will be willing to prosecute if you want to bring that information to me. Otherwise, what I don't know won't hurt you.
Got it.
All right.
All right. I recommend that you leave within the hour, as I know that Auditor Zavrian wakes for his morning constitutionals at something like 4 a.m, like the punctilious jerk that he is. You didn't hear me say that. I recommend that you leave soon. It is about a 1-week journey to Perpetual City. Anything you need to do in the camp between now and then, get it done quick and sneak out in the dark.
Yes, sir.
Dismissed, soldiers. Anything that you would like to do in the camp in the next hour before you leave?
Oh, give me just a second.
You could bring your dog on the trip. There's a camp dog that needs to be fed.
Do we have transport to Perpetual City, or are we doing this on foot?
It's along the Great Road, and just over the table, I'll say that I'm going to fast forward the actual journey to Perpetual City since this is a one shot. But yeah, you would be expected to walk. Billeting, trying to go and get some supplies that you might want. It's not going to be too weird if you want food and water, but if you want to take a friggin' horse, they're going to be like, and sign these forms and tell us what this is for. And yeah, so it's going to be a cold trudge for about a week.
Cool. Brina is definitely like going to try to requisition like an extra jacket because she is small and gets cold very easily.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cars is going to try and get some food and water, or whatever, will last for a week on the road, whatever kind of sustenance, and maybe like a heavier coat.
So Zimbrix, like she knows that if she takes everything, that's obvious. So there's obviously like the layer of possessions that everyone thinks she has, and then her actual possessions. So she makes sure she goes into all of her stashes and takes all of that with her. And yeah.
Vera definitely makes it look like someone's sleeping in like her cot or whatever, like bundles up some blankets and pulls it over like cartoon style or something.
With like a cantaloupe head.
I think Cars doesn't even bother. Like, I think he assumes that people won't care. Even if they do notice he's missing, they won't care. And he honestly doesn't really care either what people think. And in terms of his possessions, he has very little that's not part of him being a soldier. So, he would just have like one backpack that he probably would have taken with him anyway when he was summoned, because he's just used to being always prepared.
Yeah. All
He
right.
could just gather up all his gear because aside from the blink that woke him up, he doesn't get any visitors in his tent. So he's not concerned about anybody, coming into his tent to see him gone.
Yeah, people don't even like to go near his tent. It's just creepy. It's really creepy there. So Brina and Cars, I think the two of you are going to the commissary for supplies and for jackets. There's a little tent outside of the commissary, which is a bigger, more like permanent structure, where that the young half elf who is in charge of most of that paperwork lives. There's another tent for all of the files with all of the paperwork in it. It's quite a large tent. And when you go in it, it's normal to have to wake her up for various things. She's not like super surprised because sometimes things come up in the middle of the night. She, hi, it's awfully late. Good morning. Hi, how can I help you?
Hi, I'm here to requisition food and water for a week.
Water for a week. Okay, just a moment. And she pulls out a reef of paper and goes, if you could sign in triplicate Form ADFC, Form ADFC.2, Form ADFC.2345, and Form ADFC.235578, and explain the reason for your requisition. That would be fine. Here you go. Hand you a quill.
All right. All right. He dashes off his signature. He's used to having all this bureaucracy and red tape, so signs off, and then in the reason he just puts in mission.
Mission. she takes it back, looks it through, and goes, very descriptive, and puts it away on the side. And you?
Also food and water, and an extra coat, size extra small.
Extra small. All right. And that still might be slightly big for you, but here you go. You need form F2PQ3, F2PQ34, F2PQ34.5. Only 3. It's very lucky for you today. Here you go. And hands you a quill.
She takes the quill, and the counter is definitely tall. So she's like on her
Oh
tippy
goodness,
toes.
I'm so rude. Just a moment. And she pulls around and gives you like a little staircase that goes at the end of it.
Thank you. And goes up
You're
the staircase so
welcome.
she can actually read the forms before she signs them. Quickly scribbles along her signature.
And for reason, what does she put?
She puts special assignment.
Special assignment. I see that we're very special. How special for you? Okay. Thank you. And you're given all of the things that you've both requested.
All right.
When you gather outside or at the edge of the encampment, you notice that even though it's about 4, there is some movement in the camp. Some of the blinks are starting to get up for their basic exercises. You do see fire starting to be lit over in the administrative areas where the camp auditor might be. Anything else before you set out on your journey? All right. It is a cold, long trudge down the icy, sometimes muddy, cold. Did I mention cold? It's really cold. Down the cold road to Perpetual City. When you come to Perpetual City, those who have not seen it, it is a sight unimaginable to be beheld. It is a little bit up into the mountainous areas, and the climate has just gotten colder and colder and colder as you've gone. And what you see is something that looks like the most mad layer cake that you could imagine. Perpetual City is a tower that has been built up and out over the course of many, many centuries. The building materials have changed century after century. So there's at least a dozen different materials that have been used to create an outer shell of a tower, an inner shell of another tower, another shell, a tower built on top of that tower. There are some towers that you see actually slowly shifting around, and you see haze in the air, like a clear haze, and steam vents everywhere within the city, venting steam up into the sky. You arrive around about midday, so like the least cold part of the day, but lots of steam being vented throughout the city. And those of you who are from Perpetual City know that the city is heated by a bunch of, like a network of very large and also small tubing that circulates the heat from the steam throughout the city. And you can see some of that tubing also making complicated designs around the edges of the towers. You also see, because Perpetual City is known as the source of most of the clockwork and most of the animatronics in the Empire. You see that, for instance, those towers that are drifting around are being moved with clockwork, right? You see a lot of different, like, large, like, gadgets that seem to be involving transporting people from tower to tower to tower, made out of large wheels of metal. And the metal all over Perpetual City seems to have been at least gilded. It's gold. Whether it's gold through and through or not, you don't know. And as you enter the city, you know that you have a couple of options. You can go find Evandra, who would be in some of the outer bottom areas of the city. Or you can go find the city central committee administrator, Cariños, who is located in one of the inner towers of the city.
Rena's just looking around because she's a gnome, so like tinkering she kind of grew up around that as much as she can remember. And so she's like a kid in a candy store right now. A technological candy store.
Yeah. Vera kind of like appreciatively takes everything in because it's probably been a minute since she's been back home, and she'll turn to the group and be like, okay, so here's my opinion. I think this was a city commissioner, right? In Contura? Yeah. I think from the city commissioner we'll get the official story, but I think maybe Evandra might be able to give us the real story of what might be going on, or like what's actually happening on the ground versus the paperwork version. I don't know which one you guys would prefer, who you think would be best to visit first, but I know the area, so I can help you guys out.
That was going to be my plan. I was going to suggest, so I'm right with you, Vera.
Yeah.
I mean, you're from here, so I'll trust your judgment.
Thanks.
Cars definitely agrees that going the less official route is probably the better choice.
In this situation, I would agree with the, I forgot her name, the non-official one.
Evandra, yeah.
Yes.
Evandra. So as you approach the city gates, and the city gates, again, giant wheels of clockwork connected to wheels of clockwork, connected to wheels of clockwork, connected to a lever that you see the guards can pull to open the gates. And make an intelligence check, everybody. There are dice rolls in this game. Did you know that? They exist? I forget all the time. Make an intelligence check.
That's a 2.
That's a 21.
Just a straight
21.
intelligence check?
Just a straight intelligence check.
Okay.
11.
20.
20.
2.
So Brina and Vera, I mean, everybody kind of, you know, that gates can just open. They can just open. But Brina and Vera, like looking at the clockwork, not only is it really not, there's no point in using clockwork to open a gate, but this is the most like labyrinthine clockwork setup too. Someone seems to have done their best to make this as inefficient as possible, but flashy. It's really, really flashy. And Vera, you've seen that all over the city. There's plenty of times where you've seen, like, I could just knock on the door. I don't have to push a button to have a thing move, to have a thing move, to have a thing move, to have it hit the door. But okay, that's very typical.
It's ridiculous, I know.
So the city is a gigantic Rube Goldberg machine.
Sort of, yes. So you see the guard on the outside, and the guard wears just a white tabard, but with a lot of like gold tubing kind of stuff. Like, I don't mean tubing, cords. That's what those are, not tubes. Gold cords decorating the tabard. And standing outside, he's a human, looks to be in his like early 20s. And everyone just goes through a line, and you see that the guard is just asking what your business is in the city.
Before we get there, Zembrex is going to be Vera.
Yeah.
What's something they're going to believe?
I think, is this like city like a major like trading center, or like would people bring like goods and services, or is there maybe let me think. I'll as we're walking up to the gate, I'll ask around. I was like, is anyone good at forging documents or writing a letter? Maybe we can get an official letter saying we're here to meet the commissioner. They might accept things, diplomatic meetings, bureaucratic meetings. Those things are really common.
Yeah, and Sue, to answer your question, yeah, it's the major industrial center. Like, most of the animatronics are created here, so lots of metal, lots of coal in order to fuel forges. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's done in the city and traded for.
What if we just said we're looking for work?
That's also way less complicated. You know what? Perfect.
Yeah, that sounds good, because I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not great at forging things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither
I think looking for work is good.
Yeah, half truth is the best. I mean, we are looking for something.
Right. Keep it simple.
Right. So when you get up to the guard, hi, the guard is very, very enthusiastic about his job. Nice to meet all of you. Welcome to Perpetual City. What brings you to our fair town?
Hoping to get work and find opportunity.
We have opportunity here in Perpetual City. Not a lot of jobs. What kind of work?
Manual labor.
Manual labor. That's good. That's good. There's more of that than anything else. Would you, the DM says, care to make a deception check, Zembrix?
That's a 14.
14. Hey, he didn't seem particularly suspicious. He appears to believe what you have to say. Well, I recommend, if you are looking for manual labor, that you there are industrial zones to the west, and there is construction going on at the very, very tip top of all of the towers that you will find within our fair city. So just climb and you'll be able to find someone to ask, or look for the smoke. That's where they make stuff.
Vera acts like she's making a note of what this guy's saying. Just like, no, thank you.
You're very welcome. I like to be helpful. We all like to be helpful here in Perpetual City.
And you've been so helpful.
Oh, you're very welcome. If you're interested in the history of the city, we advise that you can go to the City Central Committee administrative offices at the subcommittee for naming, and you can fill out a form that will allow you to go to the other committee that talked about names, to fill out a form to go to a different committee that will find you a list of all of the names that Perpetual City used to be called. Did you know that Perpetual City has only been called Perpetual City for the last 10 years? Kind of ironic, given that we say it's perpetual. So you are invited to go visit the Perpetual City Visitors Committee in order to find out how long Perpetual City has been called what. Enjoy your stay here in Perpetual City. Just a moment. And he pulls a lever, which leads to a gear, which connects to another gear, which connects to another lever that pushes down another gear, which connects to another gear, and slowly begins to open the gate. What you see in front of you.
Everything in the Empire.
What you see in front of you is a town square with many people bustling around. You see people of all different races. More than anything, you see humans, tieflings, elves, half-elves, but gnomes are there, dwarves are there. No hobgoblins that you can see immediately, but that's not unusual. At the same time, no one has really given you much of a second look card, having people who are of a different race than humans, tieflings, elves, and dwarfs and gnomes, not so weird in the Empire. So you come in, you see people bustling around. You see that there is off to the, I can't remember what direction I said, so off to the west, sort of an area with some smokestacks. And you also do hear the sound of construction going on just about all over the city, a little bit cacophonous.
Okay. So I assume Cars and Vera would know where we need to head for the city commissioner.
Oh, where we're going to Evandra,
Oh.
correct?
Right?
So, Vera, you know her or of her?
Oh, yeah. I know where she tends to stay around. It's this way. And Vera will start walking into the depths of the city.
Absolutely. So you weave your way through various different layers of construction within Perpetual City. On the outside, there's a lot of limestone, even some marble. If you go further in, you see that there are older layers of the city that are more like made out of brick. Even further in, you don't quite get this far, but you can almost see that there's places that are made more out of like mud bricks than actual bricks. So every layer of history you can see going into Perpetual City. But within the brick zone, there's a warehouse and there's the staircase that leads underneath the warehouse. And you know that if you want to contact anyone, Vera, you would know, if you want to contact anyone within the underworld, that's usually the place to go. That's the place that everybody knows, but nobody talks about in Perpetual City. So you approach a fairly plain brick warehouse. Another thing about the Empire is, generally speaking, architecture is fairly plain. Perpetual City is very different in that the outer layers and the upper layers have all of this metal weaving around it. And even here deep in the city, you see these gold metal tubes going up and around and into a bunch of the buildings. But like typical Empire architecture, it's basically a brick square, this warehouse. With a stairway leading down into a basement door. And there are a couple of people standing outside just looking kind of bored. There's like a Goliath lady that's sort of leaning against the wall. And then there's a human guy who's just sort of like twiddling his thumbs outside of the stairway.
Okay. Yeah. I'll walk up to the Goliath lady, I guess. Like, would I know if there's like a code word or something I would need to say, or like say anything? Because I wouldn't just straight up ask her like, where's Evandra? Like, I wouldn't say that.
Right. If well, actually, because dice rolls exist. I always forget. Make an intelligence check.
Okay.
Yeah, make an intelligence check. Or a history check, actually, because you should get some extra bonuses for that.
History check. Okay, well, it's not going to go that great. I got a 4.
4. Yeah, you know that the way that you would talk to the people who you were working with was just that you knew them and they knew you, and you kind of always knew them because of the connections that you had from very early age. To try to get to Evandra, like you probably just by common sense suspect you don't just walk up and say, let's talk to Evandra. But other than that, you're not really sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess I'll like walk up and I'll just like glance like meaningfully at the warehouse and be like, what's going on?
To what are the people outside of the warehouse, or
Yeah, well, I'll walk up to them and then I'll look at like the warehouse or where the wall is and meaningfully be like, what's up?
the steam, the tower? What do you mean? What do you mean? What's up? What's up with you?
Okay.
Can I, like, when they're doing casual conversation, start doing in thieves can't? Keep up the casual conversation. We're here to do business.
Oh, that's what you meant by what's up. I'm sorry. That was rude of me. Okay. Here to do business with who?
And then in thieves can't would be, Evandra. But in thieves can't.
Evandra. You're here to do business with Evandra. Okay. What business? What business do you have with Evandra?
I don't know if you're familiar with my background or where I'm from, but we just have a few questions to ask her.
All right. Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Me?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, you can both make a persuasion check and we'll take the higher.
Okay.
$19.
Okay. Sorry. Hold on.
It's okay.
14.
14. All right. Sorry, I just heard a big burst of sound. That was interesting. To both of you, he seems to go, all right, if you say that you have business with Evandra, I mean, who am I to tell you no? Just, make sure that it's actually something worth her time, or else you might find yourself falling out of a tower here. But Rena, do you mind helping? And the Goliath lady goes, yeah, sure. Up the tower to Evandra. All right. And she walks down to the basement and uses a key to open a chain and rounds the chain around and goes, look at this. It's so straightforward. This is what I love about Evandra. I just unlock the door and it opens. Isn't that cool? She opens the door. And walks into a kind of like just a very sparse basement and goes, so elevator's not really working right now. So I hope you all are in good shape because we're going to be walking for a while.
Fine.
Okay.
Follow me. And you go, am I the only person who's hearing anything in the background?
Hearing a little
I
bit.
can hear something.
Okay. Okay. I'm just making sure I'm not like completely imagining something. Okay. I was having a moment of like, oh, it's been a long day. Okay. So you go into a spiral staircase that actually starts on the first floor of the warehouse and goes up and up and up. And you notice yourself now going from brick to limestone to marble to what looks like it is something gilded, all the way high up in the city. And you see that you're actually in one of these movable towers. So as you go up the spiral staircase, it feels orienting, like you're going up twice as fast because the tower is also spiraling with you. You get to the top of the tower and you get to a room. Rena knocks on the door. And this room has a complicated system that seems to also involve maybe a cuckoo clock, maybe just like, a weird sort of painting of an old lady, and goes, just a moment, I think I remember the code, and starts pushing on different buttons. Because I don't, is anybody good with codes or with locks? Because I don't.
I am proficient in thieves' tools, if that would help.
I can't, I'm trying to knock on the door, but I can't seem to get the code right to get the machine to knock on the door. It's not working.
Keen steps up and he just goes, I can knock very loudly.
You can figure out the code to get it to knock on the door?
No, I mean,
I think we can just knock directly on the.
And he makes the motion with his fist.
That's brilliant. Okay, try that. Do that. Oh, but just be careful that you don't break anything. So be careful with the knocking on the door. In fact, make a dexterity check and make sure you knock on the door without breaking the door.
Dexterity or strength?
Yes, because you have to go around all of these little clockwork pieces to find a piece of the door that you can aim your fist at.
Gotcha. Okay. That is just a straight 11.
All right.
He's a big machine.
Big machine. You do your knock, and there is like a little bit of like just a feeling, like maybe you might have gotten one of the gears just a little bit, but not terribly. And there's a good thundering knock, and you hear, "Come in," from inside, and the door just creaks open a little bit.
All right. Cars is gonna push it open a little more, or at least try, and walk through.
Yeah, Vera will follow right behind.
Yeah.
He opens it as much as it'll go for everyone else and walk in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What you find is a round room, slowly rotating to show vistas of the entire city. Well appointed, just like a beautiful, rich red carpet, tapestries on all of the walls. There's a woman sitting in a beautiful evening gown, just sparkly and shiny, low cut, very slinky, on a thick couch in the middle, like, one of those couches that you actually doesn't have a back, you just lean on it, like a Roman couch, in the middle of the room. Hello, who are all of you? It's very nice to meet you.
So, Cars.
Vera, I've heard of you, but I don't know if I've had the pleasure of interacting with you face to face. So it's wonderful to meet you as well.
Oh, but you've heard of me.
I have.
You have? Oh, I hope you've heard good things.
That would be true.
All right, Cars, Vera.
Cars definitely thinks she looks familiar, but this is part of his memories that he has not fully regained. Although in his past life he was a bounty hunter, so this could be, he has remembered that, being a bounty hunter, but she may look familiar because she may be one of his former contacts, but he's not 100% sure about that.
Make a history check. I'm going to use history for the history of your own background.
18.
She was a target of yours at one point.
Okay.
And you actually have a flash of a memory of being in some kind of official building. And the official buildings of the Empire are all very distinct in that they are very indistinct. They are just the same damn building in every city and every town, just square and gray and plain. And you were in one of those square, gray, plain buildings and you remember being given her as a target.
Okay. All right. He has this flash, so he kind of was about to say, "Oh, you look familiar. Have we met before?" But decides to keep his mouth shut because if she does remember him, he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want her to remember what contact.
There's going to be some interesting questions.
Yes.
And the rest of you, it's so good to meet all of you.
I am Keen.
Keen, you are very different. Keen, what are you?
Well, I'm human, but I wear this outside of me to keep me alive.
Care to take your helmet off? Keen, the human?
It's attached. I can't.
You're strange. Okay. And
I get
the
that a
rest
lot.
of you? Yes. The rest of you.
I'm Brina. You're really pretty. Like
Why, thank you.
she's very distracted by the shiny dress.
Why, thank you. I can't say I'm not told that very often because I am told that very often, but thank you. You're very short. Nice to meet you, Brina.
We heard
And you.
We heard you are very knowledgeable.
Oh, well, I like to think that I am. What kind of knowledge are you seeking?
We're wondering if you can help us solve a puzzle.
A puzzle. Interesting. I'm not very good at puzzles, but I could try. I believe, are you a hobgoblin? That's what you are, aren't you?
Yes, I
Yes.
am.
You wanted to speak?
Oh, I was going to say we are here because we got a problem and we were hoping you could help us solve it.
We have a puzzle and a problem. Exciting. Tell me about it.
The puzzle might be the problem. Do you know, I guess, since you're so knowledgeable, what a city full of steam might need to use coal for?
Well, I mean, sometimes there's coal used for smelting, but no, we get our heat pretty readily through steam. And she actually points up to a steam pipe up in the corner. So the industrial areas might use some coal for smelting. Fairly strictly regulated. Why do you ask?
Well, it seems that shipments of coal have gone missing. And we are trying to figure out why when you obstinately don't need coal here.
Yeah, and I know you have eyes everywhere in the city, so if someone were to know if some weird shenanigans with coal were going on, we knew it would be you.
What's in it for me to help?
It depends what your ask is.
What can you do for me?
What do you
Anything
need
you
us to
need
do
us
for you?
Well. If there are extra shipments of coal that are being lost, who cares? Who's interested? Who sent you? Or are you just interested in coal just generally?
See, that's the thing, right? We're just the first ones asking. And if we don't solve this mystery, then there's going to be more eyes, more official eyes coming in. It's going to be a little trickle, and then it's going to become a wave. How many eyes do you want on this city?
I take it then you're acquainted with officials who have eyes?
Yes.
I see.
They're
All
not
right.
very fond of us.
They're not very fun. Oh, darn. That's too bad. That's too bad because I was going to suggest that perhaps you might get me some connections with officials who have eyes.
Well, some of them like us. We're just
The right ones like us.
yeah.
The right ones like you. Which are the right ones?
The right ones who can help you out.
Which would be...
Well, help us along and you'll find out.
Depends what type of official services you might need.
Well, let's just say that I'm not the biggest friend of the current City Central Committee Administrator, Carreños. You know,
Who
not
is-
the biggest friend. Yes, right? Who likes him? He's just, very stick up his butt kind of person. For some reason isn't a fan of things getting misdirected and requisitioned in the wrong place. And anyway, he's been holding up a lot of paperwork for our organization for a very long time. So if you could convince him to perhaps expedite some of the paperwork that we have outstanding, such as we would really like for them to, for instance, complete some of the building in our district. We would love for them to get some steam heat down in the bottom of our basement. We would really, really love for certain individuals to not be in jail for much longer. We could get our friends out of jail or get them to just do some of our paperwork for us a little bit more quickly. That would be lovely.
I suppose.
Sounds like a high ask for just some information, but definitely we've been connected with him already. We're considering heading his way.
Well, alternatively, you could just tell me who sent you and put in a good word for me with that person, if you're willing to tell me who sent you.
What do you
Well,
have, though? We've been giving you a lot. What do you have?
right.
Well, I might have a good idea where you should start looking.
I mean, we're unofficially here, so we can't really say who sent us, but we can say that they are very powerful. And if you help us out, then we can help you out.
Make a persuasion check.
So that is other people that have to do these checks because Keen has 0 social skills.
Would I know if she's like smart enough to notice if I like casted a spell? Like if I like tap them on the back and cast guidance, that would be noticeable. Like would I know that?
You could try to do a sleight of hand check to make it not noticeable.
Is it worth it?
I got a 16 for persuasion.
Never mind.
Okay. You gonna try it or no?
I think I'll let it slide.
Yeah. You could also stand behind like a robot and do it.
It's a touch spell, so I'd have to like.
Okay. That would be really hard.
Yeah.
All right. All right. She seems to be considering Karza's suggestion that she take it on faith that perhaps you might be able to connect her with an important official. It says, could you at least give me a clue?
Well, we are in the military, so.
I see.
Connect the dots, perhaps.
Lots and lots of boots.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of boots. I see. Lots and lots of
Yes.
boots. All right, wonderful. So you're going to let Major Gloriander know that perhaps some of the other things that might be missing from the supply chain should be overlooked. They're pretty good at overlooking things. So you're going to let them know, all right, to overlook what I want them to overlook.
You got it.
All right. And you were saying?
No,
Of course.
Cars is sort of just like not acknowledging officially that it is the major, but just kind of nodding.
All right, seems fair to me. Just a moment. And she pulls out from a little end table, she pulls out a list and she goes, so here are the items that we would like Major Gloriander to give to us. Here you go. Who wants the list? Anybody?
I'll take it.
Sure, yeah.
Oh,
She has a list.
To it.
I can hold on.
All right.
I hand it over.
It's weapons. It's lots of weapons. It's a big list of weapons. All right. Well, here's what I want to suggest you do. There's an area at the edge of the city to the north called the Ashfall District. And it's called the Ashfall. Why do you think it's called the Ashfall? Anyone want to guess why it's called the Ashfall?
Those factories.
Because all of the ashes fall down there.
Oh, all the ashes fall there. So there's a lot of people with smokestacks that aren't supposed to have smokestacks in the Ashfall district. I would start looking there. And if I were you, if I was going to look for somebody in the Ashfall district who might be doing something they're not supposed to, I'd talk to Grayla and Nestra Thrice. Those girls are pretty cool.
What were their names?
Grayla and Nestra Thrice.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Is there anything else that I can do for you?
I think you've helped us sufficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Would you like to take a ride over to the Ashfall district? Anybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. It's
Brina looks kind of enthused by that because no, very short legs. She's still a little winded from doing all the things.
and in fact, actually, sensing Brina's gaze, Evandra will actually come in and kind of kneel down in front of her and just sort of lean over a little bit in her slinky dress and just be like, I bet you'd really like the ride, huh?
I mean, the stairs were a bit much.
The stairs were a bit much. All right, come over here. She goes to a little alcove and actually moves a tapestry aside, and there's a little alcove. And she goes, come on over in here. Just everybody stand in the alcove for a second. And she starts like pushing on a lot of different gears in the alcove and moving them around. And slowly a door shuts on the alcove and she says, bye, goodbye, good luck, hold on. It clicks closed and you hear a whirring and it shoots off of the tower. And you see yourself in like, what are those friggin' things called for people who ski that move in the air? It's a ski lift.
The lift?
It's a lift because it lifts people. You'd think I'd remember that. You find yourself actually in a lift, and there is like little portions of the wall kind of collapse down into a little slot so that you can see out. And you're on top of Perpetual City. And you see yourself just sort of swing out over the city and move in various directions, go to different like connection joints, and somehow it knows where to go because of the complicated code that Evandra typed in. And eventually you end up landing all the way over on the other side of the city. Now, make a Constitution saving throw, everybody.
Oh,
12.
15.
18.
16.
13.
13. You are soldiers. You're hardy. You get the sense that some folks might be in a thing like that and might start to feel a little bit nauseous, but everybody seems to be okay. Nobody's like losing their lunch over this. So you manage to land in a section of the building that is kind of dark. There's still an opening to the sky, and you can actually see in the opening to the sky that there's smoke coming out of smokestacks, really coming out of chimneys. And the air, which is like so warm and crisp and full of moist steam in the rest of the city, just feels a little hard to breathe in this area. You can see that the walls in the alleyway, and this is all mud brick, are kind of caked with ash and soot, and it's a section that it's a good thing that you went to Evandra, because if you had come from the outside, you might have had a hard time finding it, except for maybe little bits of smoke that you could see at the very, very top of the area. But it's a very enclosed, dark segment. And you see some kids sort of running around, mostly tiefling and human, running around in the area. Their clothing is kind of ripped. It's not like well maintained, not in a super like, Dickensian kind of way, but still like they're kids whose parents don't have a lot of time to patch up their clothes. And they're running through the alleyway. There's a few adults walking around. What do you do?
Do we see like a major like center of activity, or like a square, like a building that seems to be like, are there workers there, or like what's going on?
Seems like kind of just a sort of maze of narrow streets. Like this is clearly not a part of Perpetual City that was like planned in any organized way. In fact, a lot of the buildings even seem to like have additions that are added onto them, but like at improbable angles that have been like propped up by various like pieces of wood. And like, yeah, there's really not a lot there other than homes. Make an investigation check, actually, Vera, since you asked.
Okay, sure.
Are there still the children nearby, or?
Oh yeah, there's children playing in the streets with those cool hoop things, because I like those. It's cool. I don't know what they're called either. Those cool hoop things and like running around after each other. And actually, Vera, make an investigation check, and then after that, I'm going to have everyone make a perception check.
I got a 7 for the investigation check. So
there's lots of kids. That's what you notice.
Perception for everybody.
15.
12.
Unnatural 20.
11.
11.
20.
20. Okay. Everyone who had 15 and above, something's weird in the smoke. Like the smoke is moving in a way that's a little different than what you'd expect. And Vera, you got it. Wait, who got the non-natural 20?
I also got a non-natural 20, so I think.
Oh, both of you did.
Yeah.
2 non-natural 20s. Okay. For the non-natural 20s, there's little creatures flying around in the smoke.
Okay.
And sort of jumping around from eave to eave to eave.
Are they like sentient beings, or?
From a distance right now, all you can tell is that they're flying and they're hopping around a little bit, and they're not super close to you. But there's something that's not moving the way that smoke is moving, and that seems to be moving in like a planned kind of way.
Okay.
I turn to Cars and I'm like, you're seeing this too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what they are though. Maybe we need to get a little closer.
Okay.
Is it dim light here, or is it?
Yeah, it's not dim light, and there's no penalty to sight for anyone who doesn't have dark vision. It's not like that dark, but yeah, it's kind of like the sun is kind of blotted out by the smoke, and it's pretty narrow alleyways. Anyways, it's not super bright.
How far away are you? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I do have eyes of night, so I actually dark vision with no maximum range, and I can see in dim light as though it was in bright light. So is there anything else I might be able to pick up, since I can see better in the I'll let you do a perception check with advantage because of that. Natural 20.
Okay.
That would make it 24.
Nice. Okay. There are pipes just like there are here, just like there are anywhere else, that are around the outside of the houses. They're not gilded the way like the pipes were in Evandra's place. They're more like tarnished, but they don't seem to be like well maintained. There are some that are kind of fallen at weird angles. People are using them to like hang their laundry on in some places. Like they're not warm, or they're trying to cook their laundry one way or the other.
So it looks like they're not using the steam
very
at all.
Yeah, there's even a bird's nest like up in the corner of one of them.
I'm beginning to notice that you said that this place is all steam, but you're not using the pipes here.
Yeah, that's weird to me too. I haven't been around this area before, so I'm definitely not used to seeing this around the city. And Beer kind of looks closer. How far away are the like clouds of smoke from us? With the little...
there are 2-story high buildings, and so there's smoke just kind of up about 2 stories. There are ones that are a little bit higher, nothing so low that the smoke is just right on top of your head, but like a story or so above, yeah. And then the air kind of has like a smoky feel to it, regardless, just depending on where the breeze goes.
Okay, do you think I could cast Mage Hand, and Vera wants to like pass the Mage Hand like through the smoke to see if it hits one of the creatures or like provoke them.
Totally. I love that. Okay, do it. And what kind of roll would we do for that? Catching something with a mage hand.
I don't know, not even catching. I just want to see if it's part of the smoke.
If it like even just, oh, okay. It's like a net. Okay, go for it. So cast mage hand. You don't have to roll to cast mage hand, right? It just shows up. What does your mage hand look like?
I'll say it's kind of like glowing vibrantly almost in like contrast to like the dark colors Vera is wearing. It's very like bright and radiant almost. It's kind of weird. And it kind of so floats up towards the clouds.
And you actually hear a couple of kids going, whoa, that's so cool. They seem pretty excited. As you see, like there are like some swirls and eddies of smoke, but there are also like pieces like of those moving things that you saw that are sort of sticking onto the hand, and even one starts to hang off of one of the fingers.
Can I grab it and bring it back down?
Totally. And actually, when you do, you hear like a couple sounds coming from the hand.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. So I'll bring it back down and to where we're all standing, and it will be, yeah.
All right. And you see like poking between the two fingers, the impish little face of a creature, about like my head size, in the shape of an imp, but made out of smoke, but just a little more solid. Like there's some solid pieces to it, and then smoke kind of ringing around it, with like just an evil grin on its face and just big eyebrows and like a nose that comes to a little nubby little point. You're trying to catch me, aren't you?
Yeah, guess I was. Have any of you guys seen something like this before?
No, this is new.
I think for Cars, he again gets the feeling that he may have encountered one of these creatures before, but doesn't actually have any real memory. It's just like a familiarity with them.
Okay. And I'll let you make a history check. Go ahead and make a history check.
All right. 14.
14? Yeah, I mean, there's that vague sense of familiarity, but not super familiar. This might not have been something that you would have generally seen in the city before. The little creature looks over at Keen and goes, you think you're people.
He just kind of looks at it. You can't trick me.
I'm not. I'm just telling you the truth.
Is that your thing? You tell the truth?
Listen to me a lot and you'll find out. He looks at Brina and he goes, you thought the lady was hurty, didn't you? Don't try to pretend. Come on, you had to crash. Come on. Don't try to pretend.
Brina, you know about the magic stuff, right?
Yeah, to an extent.
No,
you can make an arcana.
I will make an arcana check. Yeah, that's a 12.
It's definitely like there's some kind of, it appears to be an impish kind of creature.
I think it's some kind of imp, but I can't be sure. I didn't do so well in Arcana class.
You didn't do so well in any classes, though, did you? Let's be honest.
Okay, how do you know this?
I just know things. That's what we do. We know things and we say things and we tell people things and it makes them very sad.
Is that all you do? Are y'all doing anything else around here? It seems like Andrea kind of looks up at all the other ones frolicking through the smoke. It seems like
well,
you've got an operation going.
We like to have lots of fun and we like to smell. We like to smell the smoke.
How long have you been here?
Me personally, just me right now.
You and all your friends.
Oh, I'd say maybe about 100 years or so. This is our town. We belong here.
You belong
Have
here.
you? We belong here. Wherever there's smoke, there's us.
Okay.
Do you have a name?
My name?
Mhm.
My name is Cole. Guess what my best friend's name is?
Cole.
Cole.
It's also Cole. You're very smart. You're all very, very smart.
So why do you not like the steam?
Oh, yeah, they're not our friends. We don't like them very much. They're not. Where there's steam, there's very little smoke.
I see. So you like it here where they actually use the coal, like your namesake?
It's toasty and it's warm, and they make the coal smell they make the smoke smell very, very good when we want them to, and it's delicious. And we like to play and dance and tell people things about themselves that they don't want to hear. It's very fun.
Do you guys play Omir? Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say where did they get the coal? I mean, the rest of the city runs on steam, so where would they get the coal for here?
Shh, it's a secret.
I mean,
Are you
you
guys-
can keep secrets.
You do keep secrets. You all keep secrets. You all keep secrets because people don't like you where you come from, so you don't like to talk to them. You keep secrets.
So then you can trust us with your secret.
You can make a persuasion check.
All right. 20, a natural 20.
Okay, rolling hot. All right, cool. Because if I could get out of the hand, could the hand just loosen itself just a little bit? Could I get out of the hand?
Yeah, and Bier will like rearrange it so it's not like crunchy, but she's not gonna let go. It's gonna be like maybe like that.
He's gonna jump up, and he's got like little bat-like wings, and he flies over to Cars and lands on his shoulder, and he goes, "Take me to my friend's house, and I'll tell you a secret."
Okay, where's your friend's house?
I want to see Grayla and Nestra. They're my friends.
Oh,
They're my
really?
friends. Yes.
Well, all you have to do is tell us how to get there.
I'll tell you. I'll poke you to make you go in the right direction. Here, that means go to the right, and that means go to the left, and that means lie down.
Okay. Cars
Taking
is
like
kind
the
of
sharp
like,
little point of his tail and like poking you on the shoulder
Right.
and on the head. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you going to take me to my friend's house?
you can tell Cars is kind of very annoyed, but this creature Cole is going to take him to where they wanted to go in the first place, so he sort of just sucks it up and is like, sure, and starts walking.
All right. So as an imp rides Cars' shoulder, poking Cars with his tail to go in the right direction, you head through the alleyways of the Ashfall district. We're going to go on break because this is a good place to pause. And as we go on break, I want to do another shout out for Roll20. I'm not using tonight, but I've used a bunch before, and it's super, super helpful as a tool for our role playing. So you can head over to roll20.net /start /WTTP, which I'm pretty sure stands for Welcome to the Party, or some other random thing, I don't know, but probably Welcome to the Party. And you can get a free account. And I've used it for about a year for free, so that's pretty cool. So go over there, and we're going to go on a 10-minute, 15-minute break? A 10-ish minute break, and we'll be back. So thank you, everybody. See you in a bit.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a buck or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
to Perpetual City in the Arcane Empire, where our group of soldiers are attempting to discover why coal has been going missing from army requisitions for the past 100 years. They have made their way via clockwork ski lift down to the Ashfall district, a small, narrow series of poor-looking homes in an inner part of Perpetual City, the city of many layers of towers and clockwork and steam tubing. And they have discovered through the use of a mage hand net, a little imp-looking thing made mostly out of smoke. And that little imp is now sitting on Kars's shoulder and directing him with little pokes of his tail to get to his friends, Grayla and Nestor Thrice's home. So by a series of slightly painful pokes, and I mean, this creature is perfectly capable of language, but seems to not be interested in using that, and pokes you to tell you where to go. You come to a 2-story, narrow-looking home. There's a hoop toy and a stick sort of leaning out against the door. This appears like another thing about the Empire is the individuality isn't really super encouraged. It's very odd for homes to be very decorated, but they seem to have put a lot of effort into it, like the layer of ash and crud that manages to accumulate on the walls here has been taken and drawn in. And some of the drawings are like little kids' drawings, and some of the drawings are really artful drawings of like ocean waves and trees. And this just seems to be a place where people have taken what they had and being as creative with it as they possibly could. And there's more kids sort of running around in the street. And as you approach, you actually see like a young tiefling boy with powder blue skin and little tiny goat horns, just little tiny ones, come running up to the front of the house and go, "Hi, are you here to see my mom's?"
Yes, I guess so.
Yes, so your mom, Grayla and Ness, how do you say it?
Nestra. My mom's name is Nestra.
Grayla
And my
Nestra?
other mom's name is Grayla. Yes. Oh, they're very nice. They will be very happy. Oh, hi, Cole. Hi. He says, looking up at the little imp riding Kars's shoulder. Hi, Cole, come on in. Are these your friends, Cole? And Cole goes, of course they're my friends. Everybody's my friend here. He opens the door, goes, Moms, we have visitors. And out come 2 women. One is sort of short, plump human with blonde hair up in a bun with like a streak of gray, wearing an apron. And the other is a very tall, very lithe, bright pink tiefling with dramatic curly horns. She comes out of another room. She has like a work apron on and appears to have been painting. She's paint sort of splattered all over her work apron and goes, oh, hello, everybody. Hi. Oh, you are very unusual people to sit. What are you? She says, looking at Keen.
I look like a warforged, but I'm human inside.
Like when you say inside, do you mean like human underneath or do you mean like inside?
I mean, I was told I was injured in battle, and this keeps me alive.
Oh, that sounds very painful and uncomfortable. Well, can you eat cookies?
I don't eat, no.
Oh, well, everyone come and have a seat. Grayla, do you have, and Grayla's like, oh, yes, yeah, I have cookies in the oven. And she goes and brings out cookies and goes, I guess you can smell the cookies? So, all the cookies, everyone else eats them. And, oh, Cole, I see that you're here. Okay, just a moment, everyone. And Grayla goes and goes to a little stove. So there's the stove that she just took the cookies out of, which kind of looks more like your standard stove. And then there's a wrought iron stove that's up on a platform in the kitchen. And she opens the front of it, the gate in front of it, and she takes out a little poker. And you can see inside of it that there's coal burning. And she pokes at the coal, and then she takes a little packet out of a pouch in her apron and throws it in. And just the smell of cinnamon just explodes into the room. Not so much that it's like overwhelming, like, but like the smell of cinnamon fills the room and goes up. And you see Cole jump off of Kars's shoulder right onto the stove, like not worrying at all about how warm the metal is, and just starts happily kind of dancing. Smell going, delicious. She goes, Rayla goes, please though, help yourself. I have cinnamon cookies, and I also have cookies with cinnamon frosting, and I have cinnamon bread, and I have some other cinnamon kind of products. We had a lot of cinnamon this year. If you want some.
So you like cinnamon then?
Well, it was cheap this year, so we're eating a lot of cinnamon. Feel free to have some though. We have lots of cinnamon. Anyway, what brings you? What brings you here?
Well, we're looking for some information, and we were given your YouTube name.
Nestor sits down.
You could help us out.
Nestor sits down and sort of leans into Kars and goes, "What kind of information?"
Well, we first we noticed that you guys seem to run on coal down here instead of the steam.
Yeah, we don't try to hide it.
No, but it's just interesting because we are trying to get information about coal that's being stolen from shipments. And not that we think you're stealing it, but we figure since you guys do use coal down here that maybe you would know what's going on.
And the little boy jumps up and goes, "Oh, I know. Can I answer, moms?" And they're like, Sure, Jonas. Give your answer. Jonas goes, "Every morning we put out our stockings over the fireplace. And every morning our stockings are full of coal."
Oh. So someone gives you the coal. You're not actually like taking it from someplace or buying
just from our stockings.
Interesting.
Does everyone have these stockings?
Everybody in the Ashfall district. I don't know if other people have stockings or not. All my friends have stockings though. We all have stockings.
May we
Do you have stockings?
May we see your stocking?
It's a stocking.
Wow. That's what I love the designs on it too. Did you do those?
My mom did those. My mom did. She's an artist.
Oh, wow.
She's an artist. She's a very good artist. Nobody likes to pay for her art for some reason, but she's a very good artist. And Nestor's like, no one pays for my art.
So just any stocking will do?
We wash our stockings at night and we put them on the stove to dry, over the fire to dry, and that's the stockings. It's the whatever stockings you put in the fireplace, they put coal in them.
Hmm. And no one knows where the coal comes from?
Some place called the Suntaklees or something. I don't know. But like, I don't really think, I think that's just a story that my moms are telling.
Vera will look
My
over
friend,
moms.
maybe Jonas, if you don't mind, Jonas, could you, you know what? I have an art project for you to work on. Come on over here. And Nestor takes Jonas out of the room, and Grayla leans in and goes, "Yeah, we tell them the story of Suntaklees. It's, you tell the kids, right? We don't actually know where the coal comes from."
Okay.
But it does appear suddenly in your home.
Oh yeah, no, he was telling the truth. We hang stockings at the fire at night, and then, magically coal appears.
And you never hear anyone like coming to deliver it?
Well, see, here's the thing. We go to sleep, and if we hear something somewhere around our fireplace, we just assume someone's given us coal, so we don't go out.
I see. You haven't questioned you don't really care where it's coming from.
So this has been going on for generations. This is my grandmother did this, my mother did this, like
100 years.
about 100 years. Yeah. So you might notice it, and she points to the tubing or the metal pipes. That's the word. The metal pipes. It's been a long day. The metal pipes along the top of the walls in her home. And she goes, so the story goes, right, that about 100 years ago, the steam stopped working, right? And my grandmother was actually the committee chair for this district. It wasn't called the Ashfall district. I don't remember what it was called, but she was a committee chair, and she filed paperwork to get the steam fixed. And then she filed more paperwork, and then she filed more paperwork. And apparently there was some kind of zoning situation, and then there was a problem with Administrator Carreños, who said that we filed the paperwork wrong. So then a generation later, my mother had to refile the paperwork, and she filed it, and then there were objections to that. And basically about 100 years worth of paperwork later, the steam's still not working.
Huh.
That seems really inefficient.
Yeah.
You don't say. You don't say.
So, and then one day coal just started appearing?
Oh, well, coal and all the other coals, they all just like the smoke. So they come and, we give them whatever spices we have so that the smoke, tastes and smells good for them. And they come, they like it here. You just got to not listen to anything they say, because they're a little mean.
Do you think they have anything to do with you actually getting the stockings full of the deliveries?
Why would you think that? What a silly thing to think. Why would you even say anything like that? No, of course not. No, of course not.
Okay.
Can I roll insight?
You sure can.
It's an 8.
I mean, she seems uncomfortable, but she's also talking to strangers about illegal stuff, so appropriately uncomfortable.
May I also roll insight?
Sure.
$14.
Right. Yeah, she's not just not being totally forthcoming.
These cookies are delicious, I must say. You did a great job with these.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this is a lot to ask, but would we be able to see, like, if we were around here at night, maybe we could get a peek at what's going on? I don't know. I'm just so curious. Like, you have a thriving thing going on here, and it'd be really beneficial for us to see. Your name doesn't have to be associated with whatever we find out, but we'd love to see for ourselves what's going on, if that's possible.
Why do you need to see where the coal comes from?
We're just interested in who's delivering it.
Why?
Well, they're getting the coal from somewhere.
We want to make sure that the supply is actually safe for everyone.
I mean, we've been using this coal for 100 years. No one's had any problem. It's pretty safe. What?
Let's just say people have started to ask questions of us, and we want to make sure that nobody is put in danger. Nobody is, people aren't poking around where they aren't supposed to be.
Yeah. And there's been questions about where the coal is coming from, and we don't want to see you get deprived of your heating supply and your livelihood. So we just like to know where it's coming from to make sure that it's not going to get cut off.
So you're not going to take away our coal, because we'll just freeze if you do.
Well, we're not here to take away anything from you. We're just here to find some information.
Are you still in contact with the city central commissioner, or is that a dead end for your community?
Well, I mean, we've been filing paperwork for 100 years. We'll keep filing it, but I mean, we've learned not to rely on them for anything. They're not really interested in people like us, you know? Like, we're not helping them get elected or, you know, like contributing much to the city coffers. We're just, you know, they don't really, we try.
What if we could get the steam turned back on for you? So
Well,
you wouldn't have to use the coal.
My dog would be really excited by that.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Usually it's my dogs. I mean, do you think how could you do that? How could you get the steam? That would be amazing.
Well, if the problem is with the city commissioner, then perhaps we can do something about that and have someone put in office who will actually help you.
Well, I could, just a second, just one, have some cookies. Just 1 second. Excuse me. She goes running off into the other room that Nestor and Jonas disappeared in. And Nestor comes back out. And Nestor goes, you want to fix the steam? You want to fix the steam?
Well, that's an option. If we could fix the steam, then you wouldn't have to use the coal. And then...
Uh-oh, froze.
Yeah, I think she froze.
Oh, darn it. And then we lost you for a second there.
Oh, I said, if we fix the steam, then there wouldn't be people coming around here questioning where the coal is coming from, and there wouldn't be the possibility that it could get taken away from you.
And then our children and our elderly wouldn't be, you know, sick all the time from the smoke in the air. Okay, how much do you want to risk death?
Well,
I mean, the alternative here is us going back and pretty much facing death. So
Yeah.
I'm good with whatever.
I'd rather die
Okay.
helping good people than, well, that's just
The alternative.
This is amazing. And honestly, I think death might be better than 100 more years worth of paperwork. So that would be lovely. We know, well, the Coles know where the blockage is. So if you follow them, can I trust you? Can I trust all of you?
Of course.
Of course.
Everybody make a persuasion check.
Oh no.
Could this be?
It's a group check.
Oh, okay.
You can use deception if you're trying to deceive, but everybody make a persuasion check and it's a group check. So I only need a certain average.
Oh, I got 25.
Since you're going to help the average for everybody.
I got a 2.
Okay.
8.
An 8?
Could
And
I?
that was with my ringer. My ringer let me down.
Oh, your bringer got wrong. Vera, what was yours?
19.
19. Okay.
Could I say by can I just say, you know, the way of Anna Lane has showed me the way, and this is the right way.
Anna Lane? You mean like the god?
Yes.
Interesting. Your follower?
I show her my left shoulder.
Okay. All right. You can re-roll your persuasion check. That wasn't so good the first time around.
21.
Okay. All right. And as she speaks to you, she gestures for Cole to come, and Cole actually ends up swinging back and forth on her horn while she talks. She goes, I mean, they keep taking the name anyway, so we keep being afraid someone's going to put 2 and 2 together, but it's these guys that are bringing the coal every night. Follow them, and you should be able to find where the supply is. And we're pretty sure that the supply is near the blockage because it's hidden somewhere, and somewhere that's not wet. Right? The only thing I can think of is that it's in one of the steam tunnels that nobody goes and services anymore. So follow them at night. You should be able to find both where the coal is coming from and where the blockage is.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Cole kind of looks at you and goes, we'll take you. We'll take you to the call. That'll be fun. This will be fun. So Grayla and Nestra actually provide you with a hearty dinner, assuming that you stay to eat. It's a humble but hearty dinner. There's soup, also flavored with cinnamon, a little nutmeg in there too. There's a little bit of meat, but not a lot of meat. It's pretty sparse meal. And when night comes, Cole goes, now you're mine. It's my turn. Follow me and my friends. And pops out the front of the door.
Keen just sighs as he follows.
And as like most of, as the sun goes down, and the sun goes down pretty early here because you're pretty far into the towers, so it sets behind the walls. And you see lights in the humble homes of the people of the Ashfall district, and people inside laughing, singing, saying prayers, those that do. And you see coming out of the various chimneys a number of these little smoke creatures. And Cole jumps up and flies and joins them, but stays low enough that you can follow him, and flies through town. As you follow him, do you attempt to do it stealthily? Do you attempt to do it just out in the open? What is your modus operandi?
They're going to know we're coming. I mean, this one's obviously going to announce our presence.
Is she talking
Yeah.
about Cole or Keen? Because Keen is, I mean,
Cole,
not stealthy. He's a big robot.
I'm trying to be quiet.
In fact, I think
Yeah, Cars is pretty hefty himself, so I don't think that I would say he's not trying to be loud, but he also is not trying to be stealthy. Like, he's just kind of doing his regular thing.
All right. Okay. So you wander through the alleys of the Ashfall district, and you come to a place where you see a pipe that must be one of the main old steam pipes. It also kind of decrepit, fallen disrepair, lots of rust around it. Make a perception check. You follow it for quite a long ways, for hundreds of yards. Make a perception check, everybody.
Yeah, that's a 0.
13.
4.
that's an 8.
15.
15. Okay. Brina, like, you're not sure that's a pipe. Like, it's what that wall is like, kind of curvy. That's weird. Cars, I think you're the only one who was 15 and over, yeah? You actually, first of all, like, there's no sound of water flowing through this pipe. And second, you could swear that you hear, like, the sound of something, like, running through it, almost like hoofbeats on metal.
Okay.
Right? You hear it for a little while, and then it fades into the distance, only goes so far. And eventually you all come to a grating that is set into the street. There's a lip on the street, and there's a small grating. And Cole goes, follow me, and flies through the grating. And then a couple of other little imp creatures follow.
Before we go, one of the things I can do, since I can magically, see with dark vision and blah blah blah, I can actually extend this benefit to everyone for 10 minutes. So before we go in, because it might get darker, I'm going to bless everyone with this gift. So you have the benefit of dark vision with no maximum range to any number of creatures. So all of you now have dark vision with no maximum range.
Nice. Super cool. All right, very useful. So it's a grading. The grading is about it's taller than Brina, sorry. But it's not totally big either. And it appears to be locked.
Okay.
I could.
How far
try.
apart are the bars?
A couple of inches.
Try to unlock it.
Yeah.
So these tools, is that just sleight of hand or sleight of hand with my proficiency?
Sleight of hand with your
Sleight of hand.
proficiency.
Okay.
And before they do that, I'll go ahead and give them guidance.
And that's what, extra D4?
Yeah.
And by the way, as you're trying to do this, you hear the creatures on the other side going, "Ha, aren't you going to come join us? When are you coming in? Come on, hurry up.
That's a 28. That's a 28 to unlock it.
Oh, and you notice as you're doing it, like this was at one time a complicated lock, but it's so rusty. Like it's its own challenge because it's rusted in, but like you get that just like knife through butter and it clicks right open. And you crawl down, there's a stairway or like a ladder way down to the bottom of this pipe. You crawl down to the bottom of the pipe and some kind of object bonks you on the head. Anyone who has an armor class, does anyone have an armor class 18 or above?
18.
18? Okay.
18.
Zenbrix and Vera, you each take one whole point of damage.
Okay.
As some kind of hard object bonks you on the head. Everybody roll initiative.
My first double-digit roll of the night.
Nice.
16. Hey, that rhymes.
16 for Keen.
19 for Brina.
Yeah, I also got a 16.
I got a 5 for cars.
21 for Zenbrix.
All our little baddies are like clustered in one place. So it's all of you and then the bad guys and then it's cars. All right. Poor cars. All right. So I also have terrible handwriting. So hopefully I'll actually be able to read what I wrote. Zenbrix, you are first.
Can I see what we're up against?
You can take a minute to try to assess. Well, not a minute. You can take 6 seconds to try to assess.
So a perception check?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 15?
15? Yeah. There are about 12 of those little smoke creatures, and they're standing on, and you all see the coal bins that line this pipe. They're standing on the coal bins, but it's a little bit hard to see because they're ducking behind little pieces of coal, and some of them are flying in the air and they're pelting it with coal.
Okay, so that's my action.
I'll make that a bonus action to figure it out. Yeah.
Okay, so I let
So you have an action.
All right, so I still have an action. They're hiding, so
there's like 3 of them up in the air, and like the rest of them are hiding behind coal.
Let's have. So I will try to. God, they're small, aren't they? Let's have them do well, at least one of them do a dexterity saving throw. The save is 12.
Cool. They did not make that saving throw.
All right. This is Sacred Flame, so it's radiant damage.
Okay.
It's 4.
4 radiant damage.
Yes.
Okay.
Imps. I just found gods. I'm thinking.
All right. And it is now Brina's turn.
Okay.
And you can see that there are like there are actually 4 imps in the air. And then there are little creatures that are like looking over little piles of coal.
Okay. Can I get within 5 feet of any of them?
Yeah, so the pipe's about 40 feet wide with the coal bins on each side. So even with like you have 25-foot movement,
Yes.
yeah, you can get pretty close to the ones in the coal bins. The ones flying up, it's about 40 feet high as well. So those would be hard for you to get within 5 feet of.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move toward one of the coal bins and attack one of the creatures with my battle axe.
Okay.
Because I feel like burning hands in a room full of flammable things is probably a bad idea.
Just a little bit.
Does the 21 hit?
A 21 definitely hits.
Okay. And yeah. And she's just going to do this one-handed.
Okay.
For 6 points of damage.
6 points damage. Okay. It looks at you kind of like, that wasn't very nice. And is that your whole turn? Or do you have a bonus action?
No, I do not have a bonus action. So I'm just going to look at it and be like, you're the one who's throwing things at us.
Yeah, it's fair. All right. And it is Keen, Vera, whoever wants to go first. Y'all are the same in initiative.
Who has a higher dex? You can go first.
Mine is 10, so yours is probably higher.
Oh yeah, I have 15. Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Vera is kind of taking this. Can I talk as like a free? Like,
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll turn to, I guess, I don't know if I can see the Cole that was talking to us, but like, hold on, Cole. I thought you were going to show us something. What's going on here?
We showed us the coal.
Okay, and you're attacking us because?
Because you're trying to make the smoke go away.
Okay. With that, I think what Vera will do is, yeah, I'll just Eldritch Blast that Cole right there. Responsibly. Okay, I guess that's what we're doing. So hold on. Okay, so that's a 16 to hit.
That hits.
For 9 points of damage.
Okay, nice.
And I think if there's any, for my movement, I think if there's any like large structure or something I can hide behind so I don't get like bonked in the head with a piece of coal again, I'll do that. I can even just like stand behind someone.
There are a lot of other sort of pipes that seem to be like passing like through this larger pipe. So there's one that sort of arcs down and you can kind of hide around the side of it so that you're not, because otherwise it's coal bins that you could hide behind, but they're full of imps. So
Right, yeah. So I'll step to the side.
Okay.
That's
All right.
okay.
Keen?
Is going to he's going to move forward and attack not the one that Brina attacked, but another one of the imps that's within reach.
Mm-hmm.
18
That hits.
plus 5. So yeah, he's
So
going
that
to use.
double
sorry?
fipple hits. That double fipple hits. You're good.
Okay, he's gonna use goading attack, which is a DC 13 Wisdom saving throw, and if he, well, wait until you
Okay, yeah, it fails.
fails. Okay, so he basically he gets disadvantage if he attacks anyone except Keen. He has disadvantage on the
Okay.
attack roll. D8. Or my D8. There, my D8. So that's 4 and an 8. So 15 total damage.
Okay. All right, you seem to have really got this one good. It's looking like, ugh. They're not like, so when it gets hit, you see like a little burst of smoke kind of fly off of it, and some of it reconstitutes, but a lot of it doesn't. And is that your turn?
That is my turn, yes.
Okay. And all right, Cole flies through the air again, hitting armor class 15 and above. Who is 15 and above? Okay, I'm sorry, 15 and below.
Oh,
I'm backwards. 15 and below. All right, those of you who are 15 and below, you take 5 points of damage from Cole smacking you in the head. All right, and it is, it's now Cars' turn.
okay.
Patient Cars.
So Cars is going to, he has his warhammer in one hand and his battle axe in the other. He's got the 2-weapon fighting, so I'm gonna hit first with one and then the other. So the first one would be a 20 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, and that will be 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage. Okay. And are you hitting the same one twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one that hasn't been hit at before.
Okay.
And then the second one would be an 12 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, so be 7 points of damage.
Okay. That one also looks like the smoke's not reconstituting very well around it.
Okay.
All right, and it is now to do Zembix's turn.
Okay, so the one I sacred flamed before, that's one of the ones above, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, and then I want to take my short bow and I want to aim at it. Does a 16 hit?
It does.
Okay, that is 4 points of damage.
All right.
Then I like to bonus action hide, possibly.
Okay.
So that's a stealth roll, correct?
Yes. Oh, and actually, Vera, did you take damage on the last one?
I did.
You were hiding. You were hiding, so you didn't take, so take away that damage. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I just had more cover. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
That's 22 to hide.
Okay. They seem like they don't know where you are.
Okay.
And it is Brina's turn.
Okay. How far away from Brina is the one that Keen basically beat the crap out of?
It's like about 10 feet away from you. It's up in one of the coal bins.
Sweet. It needs to make a DC 13 Wisdom save, please.
Just barely misses it.
Great. I'm going to look at it and cast Toll the Dead.
All right. For how much damage?
1 point of damage.
1 whole point of damage. Okay.
1 whole point of damage.
It kind of sticks his finger in its little ear, like maybe there's some earwax in there or something. All right. Any bonus actions?
You know what? I'm going to actually use my action surge, which I can do. And I'm going to attack the one that I had previously attacked with my battle axe. With my battle axe again.
Okay.
Except that's a natural one.
So battle axe happens and it just sort of like ducks around a pile of coal and misses. All right. And Vera, you're going before Keen, yeah?
Okay. So how many are up in the air still?
There's 4 up in the air.
4. Okay. Okay. And then the ones that are up in the air, would you say they're like far away from the coal is down on the ground, right?
Yeah. The coal is maybe like 5 feet above the ground because it's in the bins, but the ones up in the air are probably 30, 35 feet up.
Okay, that's fine. And then you said there were how many again?
There's 4 up in the air.
4 up in the air. Okay. I want to cast Flaming Sphere centered on one of the ones up in the air. And how it works is it's a 5-foot diameter, but then also it affects anything within 5 feet of the sphere.
Okay.
So I want to see if I can get as many of them in that little sphere as possible. They need to make a dexterity saving throw, the DC 14.
Okay. 2 of them make it, 2 of them do not.
Okay, so for the ones that fail, they will take... Okay, the ones that fail will take 9 damage, and then the ones that pass will take half. And then the sphere will just chill out up there.
So there's now a sphere just like hanging.
Of like, yeah, like bright, like shining flame. And it's shining bright light in like 20 feet. So now if it was dark, right now.
They also look like they're not like big fans of the brightness. They're just sort of away from it. Okay.
And then I will try, and I don't have the hide action, but I will at least try and get like partial cover if I can. So.
Partial cover. Okay. Alrighty. And Keen.
I guess Keen is going to make another attack on the one that he smashed on before. Is 21 to hit.
That hits.
That's 11 damage.
All right. So and what's your attack? What are you attacking with? Remind me.
Longsword. So
longsword.
1d8.
As you swing this longsword, you cut through it almost as if it didn't even exist, and it bursts into dust and like coal dust. And make a dexterity saving throw.
15.
15. All right. You feel a little bit for a second, like, it almost like went right into your lungs, but you seem to be okay. And it now is no more. And is that your turn?
That is my turn.
Okay. So now we have fewer. All right. So yes.
I was just gonna, how many did you say there were of these things?
There were 12. There were 12. There's now 11. But just caught off guard by what they just saw. They toss the coal, but they don't really seem very effective at tossing it at anybody. So I rolled like 5 and under for all of my rolls. So like it's kind of humorous as if coal is just sort of pinging off of the pieces of metal and just like kind of going everywhere. And a couple of the uninjured ones, there's like one coal bin where none of them have been injured, are still going, but all the rest of them are sort of like, and it is Karz's turn.
Okay. He is going to go after the same one. that he went after the first time. And it will be a 18 to hit.
That hits.
And 6 damage.
6 damage. This is one of the ones in the coal bins, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, the
that
same one that he had injured before.
Yeah, that one
Okay.
you almost think is about to disperse, but it ends up sort of reconstituting itself, but very barely. It's just like a wisp of smoke now.
Okay, so my second would be 6 to hit, I guess. That doesn't.
That misses.
Yeah. All right.
That misses.
That
Its
will
smoky
be it.
form almost divides to let your weapon pass through and then itself. Zenbrix.
So am I hidden? Because I'm a rogue.
You are hidden.
Because I want to know if I get sneak attack on the one I've been shooting.
Not only, yeah, absolutely. And they're all close to enemies at this point. So yes, you should be. Do you want to, did you already roll damage for a previous attack that we didn't give you sneak attack for?
Oh, because I've been shooting the one in the air.
That's
so
true.
There's no one there. So this time I want to shoot the one that's in the air, and if I'm hidden, then I get sneak attack.
Okay. Yes. Awesome.
Okay. So does a 19?
19 hits.
All right. So that's going to be 7 damage.
7 damage. Another one goes into a burst of ash in the sky, but because it's far enough away, it doesn't seem to get into anybody's lungs and blinks out of existence.
Okay, and then that is a 20 to hide again.
Died. Okay. Brina.
Okay. I'm gonna go for another shot at the one that I've been wailing on with my battle axe. But at this point, Brina's getting a little frustrated and is going to actually attack it using 2 hands on her battle axe. Does a 15 hit?
A 15 does hit.
And that's a whole 4 points of damage.
It actually, this is the one that you've already hit before, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Poof. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 18.
18. All right. Again, like you just managed to kind of hold your breath enough to not suck in the ash that's distributed into the air. And let's see. Zenbrix is hidden. Vera has cover. All right. So Cars, you managed to get hit with one of the pieces of coal for 4 damage.
4?
Yeah. I rolled under 10. I rolled under 10 with all the rest of mine. So bloop, 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 pieces of coal all around the pipe. And it is Cars' turn.
All right. He's going to keep going with the one he was hitting at before. So the first would be a 11.
11 misses.
Okay. And then the second would be 21.
21 hits.
And that will be 6 damage.
All right. It's looking not so great either.
Okay.
Yeah. Zenbrix, your turn.
Okay. Short bow. So there's still more up there, right?
There's 3 up in the sky, yeah.
Yeah. So
one looks really injured and 2 look okay.
I want to shoot the one that's really injured.
Okay.
Short bow. That is a 17 to hit.
That hits.
And I'm hidden?
This is going to be such overkill. Hooray for rogues.
That's 11.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a little smoke firework in the air. It's like a reverse firework.
And that's a natural 20, so that's a 27 to hide.
Okay. You're pretty darn sure that you're hidden. All right.
No one knows
Brina.
where Zenbrix is.
Zenbrix doesn't know where Zenbrix is. Brina, it's your turn.
Okay. Let's see. How far away is the coal container that has the ones that are not injured?
It's like 30 feet to the other side of the tunnel. Actually, it's 25 because it said it was 40. Yeah, it's 25 feet.
Cool. I'm gonna take my whole movement to go over there and then attack one of the imps that hasn't been attacked yet.
All right.
21 to hit.
That hits.
And again, angry little gnome going two-handed with her battle axe. 8 points of damage.
All right. And is that your turn?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Vera.
Okay, cool. So there's 2 still left up in the air.
Mhm.
And then for Flaming Sphere, it's a concentration spell. And I may have read it wrong when I first said it, but basically any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet of the spear needs to make a dex save and then take the fire damage. And then as a bonus action, I can move it around to bump into them. So did they like move away from the giant bright thing that was irritating them, or are they still in the area?
No, they're still in the area. And one of them made their save and one of them didn't. How much damage does the one take that did not?
Okay. They will take. The one that didn't will take 8 points of damage.
Whoa, that's good. Okay. It's not looking great at all right now.
Okay, and then for my action, I'll just Eldritch Blast the one that's not looking too hot.
Okay.
Okay, and that one will take 7 points of damage.
All right. It's just a tiny little wisp.
Okay.
Sorry, did you say hold on? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
No, I should be good. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's a tiny little wisp at this point. Keen, your turn.
Are there any others near me that haven't been damaged?
There's one that's been damaged but not dead right by you.
I will take a swing at that one.
Okay.
That is 14 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. And that is 9 points of damage.
9 points. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 4.
4. Right. It goes and like you're like with like the effort, I guess, because you breathe, even though you're a robot. Your robot breath sucks in a lot of the ash, and you actually end up taking 2 points of damage just from like the burning stuff going down your metal throat. Melts the inside of your metal throat. That's what happens.
So
all
right. What, like fire damage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for asking me to specify because I forgot. All right. So seeing all but 5 of them take all this damage, the laughter that you originally heard has like died down now, and it's like and they start to fly out of the grate, and everybody can make an attack of opportunity on one each of them.
That'll be a 21 for me. Do I also get sneak attack damage?
You sure do.
Is this like a weapon attack or a spell attack?
You can make whatever attack of opportunity you want on the ones flying out the grate, which is 5 of them, conveniently.
That's 8.
23 for me.
Okay, so 8 damage.
8 damage.
Okay. 23, Brina, how much damage?
4 points.
4 points.
I have
right.
16.
16 damage or 16 to hit?
16 to hit.
That hits.
And then 10 damage.
Okay. Vera?
I have 15 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, and then 6 points of force.
Okay. And Keen?
12 to hit?
12 to hit. Hits barely, but it hits. You'd think little tiny creatures would have like a really high AC, but because they can dodge, but they don't.
8 damage total.
8 damage. Okay. Nothing, you aren't able to kill any on their way out. Like you see them like kind of flood out of the grate. But the room appears to be clear. And you see on the other end of the room, there's a sluice gate with like some pulleys.
Are the coal bins on wheels? Like, is there like a track for them to?
No, they seem to have been stashed somewhere that doesn't usually have coal bins.
I think we would have to remove the coal bins before.
Keen is just gonna nod and he's gonna grab one to start bringing it out.
Start doing what?
To start like he's gonna like just grab the nearest coal bin and just start trying to like drag him out of the tunnel just to get him out of there.
Yeah, it's pretty big and the entryway is fairly small, so it's gonna, and you have to climb upstairs to do it. So you can do it. Yeah, I'll have you do a strength check, but you can do it.
Okay. That's 12.
Actually, you could use athletics if you want.
Still 12.
Okay.
Well, I added athletics to the roll. It would have been lower as strength, but yeah, 12. Athletics.
All right. You're able to very awkwardly take the coal bin and try to get up the stairs and get it out of the thing, but it takes you a little bit, but you're able to do it.
I'm gonna grab. How many coal bins are there? Like 4?
There's 6.
6. Okay, I'm gonna grab a second coal bin as well. For strength, I rolled a natural 20.
Wow, you're like, this is nothing. I'm going to balance it just on my shoulder, and out it goes.
Keen watches cars walk by like and just looks down at his as he's going.
Yeah, Brina's also going to try to get one.
Okay.
Aside from him, this has only reinforced his feeling that he is a human inside of a warforged.
13 for strength
13
or athletics.
So tiny little Brina takes a coal bin and balances it and somehow manages, kind of maybe by leaning a little bit on cars and leaning a little bit on Keen, to get it up the stairs and get it out that grate. So there's 3 coal bins left. If y'all want to say that you keep doing it, the 3 of you are able to get the other out of the gate. Okay.
Sure.
Vera's kind of watching this and is like a little confused. She's like, I guess, where are we going from here? Are we transporting this back? I mean,
well, no, we need to go
figure out the source of the problem.
You need to go investigate because if this is steam, and if that's the blockage for the steam, I didn't want, the cold to be in there, and it's going to be bad enough with us to try to figure out what to do with this. So we go down there. Do we like investigate it? Do perception check?
Mm-hmm. Do an investigation check.
That's a 2 for me because I'm just my God doesn't help me here.
Brina went down 2 because as a gnome, very interested in tinkery things, and got a 19 on my investigation.
Very appropriate. Okay, so there's a sluice gate, and I had to look up how to say that. It's sluice, S-L-U-I-C-E. There's a sluice gate. And it has a pulley system, but as with everything in Perpetual City, it's a pulley system made out of various clockwork pieces with pieces of rope tied to them as well, and like a lever that's supposed to work. But you can tell with that score, Brina, that it's broken. There are just like pieces that are kind of snapped off, and this is the blockage. Also, you can tell with that investigation check that the sluice gate is very warm. There's warm water on the other side of this.
Okay. Can I roll something to try to fix it?
You can make do you have Tinker's tools?
I don't.
Okay, let's see.
Keen has
I-
Smith's tools. I don't know if those would help.
You could use Smith's tools for that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Seeing that Brina's going to try and fix it, I'll run over and I'll cast guidance.
All right.
We'll give you some help.
All right. So Brina and Keen together, you can work together to try to fix it. So let's have you make, gosh, how would I do this? Let's have you make I hate the term sleight of hand because I don't really mean sleight of hand in the stealing thing, but in a being dexterous with your hands. So you can make a sleight of hand check, and whoever makes the check can add the sleight of hand modifier from the other person because of using the tools and because of working together.
And a D4.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would assume I would have proficiency with the Smith's tools since I think it's from his background.
Yeah,
So
we're
would
counting
I-
it as you have proficiency.
Okay,
Yes.
That's
Okay.
a 7.
Let's see. Yeah, well, you're more than welcome to add my 2 points of guidance
Oh, God.
and my 2 to that. So you can
All
add
right.
another 4 points.
It goes, and you get like a tiny bit of movement from it, but not a ton.
Do we want
Make
to
a perception
keep
check.
trying? Or well, make a perception check.
Everybody make a perception.
Everybody? Okay.
That's a 9.
Same here. 9.
Also 9.
Yeah. 10.
14.
14. So Cars and Vera, there is the definite sound of hoofbeats on the sluice gate now that it's been messed with. You can tell that there's some creature on the other side that has heard you messing with it, that's trying to pound on the sluice gate. And in fact, you see that the gate is starting to get like little dents in it.
Okay, hold on. I think we should step back.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Keen takes a few steps back.
Right. Cars and Vera, because you're both from Perpetual City, make a history check.
All right.
My history. I have a 3.
14.
14. Okay, Cars. There is a creature called a steam mare that is a natural denizen of the steam tubes, the steam
Okay.
tunnels. And if worked into enough frenzy, is able to knock down a sluice gate.
Okay. All right. I am going to I assume that I'm the only person in the group, that I'm going to tell the rest of the group this. And so if we want to get the gate open, then we sort of just have to provoke it enough to knock it down. But then it will be in here with us. So.
Oh,
Are they naturally friendly creatures or?
They're pretty neutral. They don't try to hurt anybody.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So I mean, as long as we're not in the way when it knocks the sluice gate open, then we should be okay. It shouldn't try and attack us.
I can always poke it with my mage hand. I mean,
I was just gonna say I could do the same thing too.
ooh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you stand back. And in fact, if you want, you can go up the ladder just a little bit so you're not down on the
yes.
ground.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Water.
Hint from your DM.
Yes.
Steam, water,
Yeah,
hot,
yeah.
bad.
Remember, it's just like
All
there's
right.
a reason why I wanted the coal out. Come on.
And Vera and Brina, what do you do with your mage hand? Do they knock? Do they go poke poke? What do they do?
Well, my mage hand is like sparkly and purple because
Of course.
why not? And it's going to go to the door and knock, maybe pound just a little bit, as much as a mage hand can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Vera, what's yours?
I think my mage hand will, I mean, if we can see like the shadowy figure of the steam mirror in there, whatever, it will try and just poke it directly. Just go, if it can go through the bars and just be like, boop.
Poke. Okay. The more noise that you make, the more the pounding gets furious and furious and furious and furious until eventually, with a giant cracking sound, kind of like the sound of the top of a can coming off, except like echoing down the hallway and huge. Down peels the sluice gate. Sluice gate. That's how you say it. Sluice gate. And you see this beautiful sight. It's a rush of water with steam flowing above it, and these creatures that are made almost entirely of steam concentrated, and red fiery manes, red fiery eyes, red fiery hooves, and they run down the pipe and kind of look at you as they run, a little bit almost in thanks. They flow down the pipe, and now you see steam start to rise, and you hear the sound of ancient gears start to creak back into place. And you hear just like kind of the wailing of old metal as steam and air starts to flow once again.
My mage hand will give Brina's mage hand up.
Oh yeah, Brina's mage hand. Fist bump Vera's.
And now you hear shouting coming from outside of the tunnel, and it sounds like, yeah, it's what you see when you come out of the tunnel is, for the most part, you see like confused people like looking at pipes that are starting to kind of shift and move and make noise. You see people desperately trying to get their laundry off of the pipes. Some of them are going to have like a really nice, like no wrinkles whatsoever in their newly steamed laundry. You see a bunch of those little smoke creatures, and now a bunch of little ones made out of steam, and the smoke creatures are angrily throwing pieces of coal at them, but the steam creatures are going and moving out of the way. You see your friends whose names I've forgotten, and I moved my thing, so oops.
Grella and Nestra.
Grella and Nestra, thank you.
And their son Jonas.
Walking out of their house with like a surprised look. And Nestra comes to you and goes, I can't believe you did. I thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the sake of our children and our elderly. And thank you so much. We'll get the coals to, we'll find a way to keep them alive without stealing any more coal. So thank you. I can't even tell you what this means for our community. And you are treated to so many cinnamon rolls just piled up in front of you from all of the different people in the Ashfall district. Cinnamon bread, cinnamon rolls, some mugs of cinnamon, hot chocolate.
I want to get a basket and fill all like the cinnamon rolls and bread and everything, so I can take it back to our guy, Gloriander, just because Zimbrex knows he'll hate it.
Yeah. I want to grab a basket as well, because Cars is used to eating the military food, and he's like, oh, this cinnamon stuff is good.
Pretty good. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, Keen will also get a basket, but to give to other, like the other people that he actually likes, around the camp, because he doesn't need to eat.
Brina gets a tiny basket, just like, gnome-sized basket, and, can fit probably like maybe one cinnamon roll takes up half the basket.
All right.
Please tell me there's like a mug that says, like my friend went to, like that city,
Perpetual
all I
City,
got
and all
was
I
this
got was a
lousy
stone
mug
mug.
or something.
Yes,
so
yes,
I'll
yes,
give it
yes.
to him.
But it's got like a top on it. But like in order to get the top to open, you have to like press a button, which moves a gear that moves another gear that moves, and eventually the top opens.
Because I know he'll have to like do the whole empire, like, of course I like this
Thanks.
gift.
That was, and in fact, when you do return to Major Gloriander, you get a thank you for that.
Anytime,
Thembricks.
sir.
And as you share the cinnamon rolls and all the grateful soldiers, you make more friends that day than you have made in all of your time at the camp. And you find that in the years to come, you are somewhat less unpopular than you were before. You are remembered for a very long time as the Cinnamon Roll Gang. And we will end there. All right. Yay!
Yay!
Okay, so let me go back to my
Yay.
instructions on what the heck is. Thank you. That was so fun.
That was
I
so
really
much
liked
fun.
So fun.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed that. I enjoyed all of you so much. It was so cool. And yeah, thank you for that's my first intro for Perpetual City. I've not used that in my setting before. So definitely gave me inspiration for that.
It's a cool place.
All right. Yeah, right? I like it.
Mhm.
And I like the Cinnamon Roll Gang quite a lot. So thank you for playing. All right, let's go around. And I just want to thank everybody who was in chat and active. I want to thank, I have horrible writings, Tegan Mouse for following. Thank you for your follow. And thank you for Mercs of Mischief for your raid during the course of our stream. And I want to give everybody a chance to say who they are one more time. We're just going to real quick go around. So, and now that I only have your character names, let's see if I can get your actual names. M?
Hey, like I said, I'm Em. I was Brina during this super fun game. You can find me on Twitter at simply EMMILY.
All right. And Cars, Jenna.
I played Cars. My name is Jenna. Philly girl on Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm most active on Instagram. I do beauty, books, and geekery, which is my tagline. It's the three things I love the most. And I also do the Instagram accounts for my local chapter of Geek Girl Brunch that I'm officer for. And I do the Instagram account as well for the International Geek Girl Brunch organization. So if you are a female or female identifying and you're a geek, which I assume you probably are if you're watching this, feel free to check us out. It's GGB Philly is the local organization that I belong to. And, you know, feel free to join if you'd like to.
Thank you. Suze?
Yeah, my name is Suze or Susanna. I played Vera in this one shot. You guys can find me on Twitter at Santa_K, so ZANNAH_K, and I'm on Discord too, Suzbian, SUZBIAN.
Awesome. Thank you. And Michelle?
Hi, I'm Michelle Ely. You can find me on Twitter at Michelle Ely. The Discord, welcome to the party at Michelle. I played Sunbrex, who ended up being sassier than I thought she would be, but I loved it. You can find me on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on this channel playing Riffs. It is outrageous, so please stop by and watch. And I'll be at PAX U, and if you're at PAX U, I hope to meet you and fist bump or hug or whatever you'd like, consensually, all that type of stuff. So cool.
All right. VZs.
There, I'm John Viesnees. I was the human inside of Keen tonight. He was quiet, but he again, like I said earlier, he has very poor social skills. He's a soldier. You tell him what to do, and he does it. So you can catch me. I'm on Twitter at Viesnees. Tuesdays I'm on Straticus Academy playing a Mark of Shadow elf rogue child who's stuck in the Feywild with his friends, and they're working through it. Back here again Fridays, although I think we're taking a break this week, and we'll be back on the 13th for the finale for the Breakface Club. At Friday at from 12:30 to 3:30, whenever. So that I believe is everything for me.
Awesome. And I'm Jen. I'm Jen Quixote on Discord and Quixote Jen on Twitter, changing it up. QUIXOTEJEN, 1N. You can see me on Tuesday evenings on Featherfall Tabletop, 6:30 Pacific time, where I play a super airheaded, literally airheaded air genasi monk. And then you can see me on Scraticus 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time on Thursdays, except for this week because of PAX, where I play an old cynical sailor. So that's a bit of a switch from Tuesday to Thursday. But wow, like this has just been so fun. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, all of my wonderful players. Thank you, Fox, who y'all can't see, but Fox is doing everything here.
Fox is
and
great.
thank you.
We love Fox.
Yay! Fox is awesome. And thank you. Welcome to the party. And I think that we are rating Dumpstat Charisma, which is an awesome name. So enjoy Dumpstat Charisma. Bye.
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 Have a good night, everyone.